Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, comrades, brothers and sisters, friends and family. As your host for today's event, I want to take this opportunity to warmly welcome you to the celebration of Black History Month 2021, hosted by the BAME network of Manchester University. We are gathered here today to remember and celebrate the efforts, ideas, struggles, achievements, and contributions of generations gone by and those among the living, who have carved many pathways for us to continue on this journey of actualizing our collective and individual aspirations. We have indeed come very far on this journey. Their efforts and sacrifices shall never be forgotten and shall remain in the consciousness of humanity. But as we celebrate, this occasion also presents us with the opportunity to reflect on how far we need to go on this journey. Despite the many giant and legendary efforts and contributions made by those who preceded us, we still continue to be blighted by structural and systemic inequalities, racism, epistemic injustice, and violence. The strong wind that wants to blow us at the back heap of human aspiration continues to grow stronger. But we cannot and must not be dissolute in our resolve and resolution. For indeed, the opposing wind will continue to grow stronger. The roads would be many and rough, and the obstacles will continue to increase. But I strongly believe that if we continue to arm ourselves with discipline, determination, and dedication, no barriers will be strong enough to withstand our efforts. I want to remind ourselves that we cannot afford to falter in our collective and individual endeavors, because the enduring hands of history will interrogate our contributions, and generations that are yet to come will question the value of our existence. So on that note, I thought it would be better to do it the way I can do it best. So I have a poem, or I wrote a poem for this occasion, which I think is in memory of all of those that continue to inspire us. So this poem is entitled Celebrating Our History. And it goes, within our collective consciousness lies our collective aspiration. With consciousness we celebrate. In consciousness we deliberate the mystery of our history. You think our history is a joke? You must be having a laugh. Our history is one that is recited with the voice of infinity. Listen carefully, and you will hear the spiritual vibrations of our history. Our history is historic without hysteria. Our history is profound without profanity. Our history is deep and rich without the laxities of luxury. Our history is pregnant with consciousness. Our history is enchanting and mesmerizing. Our history is enduring within the complexity of time and space. Our history is a timeless masterpiece. Our history is one that is written in the tablets of eternity. Our history is one that is pontificated by the nobility of humanity. Our history is brilliant and beautiful. Our history is Black history. The legacy of our history was foretold and can never be untold. Our history is bountiful, or our history is a bountiful archipelago, sang with the blissful voice of divinity, dance in the strides of a soulful grace. In the triumphant echelons of nobility, our history is brilliant and beautiful. Our history is not a tale of fiction. Our history is an inspiration that grounds our aspiration. Our history is the tale of great men and great women, of trailblazers and pace setters, of great pains and of great gains, of great inventions with valid intentions that spurred human advancement, of great tribes that thrived, of great sacrifices forged in the furnace of dignity. Our history is brilliant and beautiful. Our history is Black history. Celebrate we must, and celebrate we will, for our history is brilliant and beautiful. Our history is Black history. Thank you. So, on that note, I would now just like to remind our audiences here with us that we have some housekeeping rules. The toilets obviously are downstairs on the lower ground floor. We're not expecting any fire alarms to go off, but if they happen to, just follow me. And for our audience, for our virtual audience, please make yourself comfortable. You're very much welcome, and we hope you will enjoy the rest of what we have planned for you for the day. On that note, I would like to now introduce the president and the vice chancellor of the university, who has got a recorded message for us. Thank you very much.
Hello. The month of October has been celebrated as Black History Month in the UK since 1987. This national celebration aims to recognise and celebrate Black British achievement and foster general knowledge and understanding of Black history. We've celebrated Black History Month at the university for over 10 years with a variety of events raising awareness of this diverse community. The University of Manchester's BAME community has this year created an event to focus on celebrating and moving forward after the challenges of COVID over the last 18 months. And we're proud to present Brilliant and Black. This year we'll be celebrating Black History Month with an online event of entertainment while celebrating Black history. Of course, we're delighted to welcome Banji Adewumi, Director of Equality, Diversity and Inclusion, who's joining for the first time in our celebrations. We're also honoured to welcome Professor Dawn Edge, who's Professor of Mental Health and Inclusivity in the Division of Psychology and Mental Health in the School of Health Sciences. With a focus on race, belief and religion, Dawn will also include a perspective on race inequality and Black Lives Matter. The lineup also includes artists Lolo Drum and Dance, a Calypso performance from Goerge and Metro, and Afrobeat performance from Sens Sagna and the Kajamor Family, showcasing the varied talent within our community. The celebrations will end with a live performance of the One Love song, aiming to express our university values, highlighting that we are one organisation where we are all united, valued and celebrated at the University of Manchester. I really hope you can join in celebrating this important month. If not today, then there are many other ways in which you can support our BAME staff. Please do visit the ED&I pages for more information and do enjoy the celebrations. Thank you.
We thank Dame Nancy for that very succinct and informative address. I would like now to introduce our Director of ED&I, Banji. Please, you're welcome.
Nancy for the opening remarks. I also want to acknowledge Nalin and Patrick Hackett for the leadership of this agenda over the years. As Nancy has said, the University of Manchester has been celebrating Black History Month for the past 10 years. October being a month where there's a national celebration aimed to promote and celebrate Black contributions to British society. The Black contribution not just to health, not just to education, but across the sectors and indeed for the lives of all in general. I'd like to start by welcoming all our guests, ladies and gentlemen, and indeed the online audience, the wider Manchester community, and of course those who will be listening to this presentation after today. I'd also like to acknowledge both Laverne and Lorraine for leadership of the BME network and indeed the past group of colleagues who have been leading the BAME network over the years. I'd like to thank them for organizing this event, and thank you also to all the colleagues who have helped in one way or the other in making this event a reality. Appreciating colleagues also who have provided their technical wisdom in making sure that not just behind the scenes, but in front house, that indeed today's event has happened. We have a fully packed program, as has been explained for the day, and indeed an interactive activity for us all, including those who are online. So today we are celebrating Black History Month, and may I add that there are many other events that are planned for the month. But could I add that this shouldn't just be a one-day recognition of Black contribution or a celebration of Blackness. Indeed, it must be an everyday affair. We have Black minority ethnic people and communities amongst us, yet our data, not just at the university, is telling us that all isn't well with our Black minority ethnic colleagues. Based on our annual performance over the past 5 years, the BME total for grade 7 and above in professional services has grown slightly. I can also tell you that a total of 20 BAME applicants applied for bands grade 8 and 9 in 2020. However, none of them were shortlisted. I could go on giving you data that isn't quite pleasing to the ears and probably would sadden the mood, but I'm not going to follow suit in sharing sad news. Rather, I'm choosing not to read out the sad data, but to invite us to have what I'll call a paradigm shift. And so there's a slide that I have up for us all to see, which is inviting us to actually question ourselves. Through whose lens or through what lens am I viewing the other person in my life? And this indeed is an invitation to all, recognizing that I'm speaking to a diverse audience. So whether you're Black or white, what is the mindset for informing our view of the other person? Do you see the other as an equal? And for those individuals who've been at the receiving end of prejudice, or you felt devalued by society or the social construct of racism, what are your coping strategies is my question to you today, and we'll come back to that in a minute. So why are we here, I ask? It's Black History Month, isn't it? So what is Banji saying? This celebration aims to promote and celebrate Black contributions, and indeed we will have today, as has been mentioned, a number of artists who will be displaying their skills, and of course an invitation to us too to take part in these activities. But also this month is an opportunity for us to foster an understanding of Black history in general. So on the screen you have the picture, it's the first one, sorry, the previous one. You have a picture, that actually is a picture taken off a plane while sitting on one side of the plane. And the thought that came to me then was, I describing my view from the right-hand side of the plane, you could bet that the person sitting on the left-hand side would have a different story to tell. And so my invitation to you is your opportunity to get into the life of the other person and finding out much more than what you already know. And Black History Month is an opportunity for that to happen. Next slide, please. So, not reading out names, or else we could be here for long. I'm inviting you to Google and search out individuals, heroes, who've been able to make impact in society, nationally and globally, and even locally, despite the odds. And you and I have an opportunity to make our own imprint in history. So there's a word there on the screen which says legacy. So what has history enabled you and I to achieve? What is your legacy, or what would your legacy be, having been part of this community? Not quite like Abdullah, I want to read these few words. It's just a revision to what I'm titling Variety in the World. Variety and richness. May we have an understanding of difference. Richness and difference. There is so much difference, yet so much in common. Diversity and richness. Can we take time to explore? And maybe we can then discover how much richness, yes, richness, and how the coming together of all that richness is much more and can produce so much more richness. So my invitation also to all colleagues, Black and white, online or in the room, is to learn from the plants who have endured over the years. Remember to stay hydrated. And very quickly, I'm talking about self-care. Self-care is important. I'm not here standing to talk to you about slavery and depression and discrimination. No. The very fact that we had individuals who were able to become heroes despite the odds, you and I can also make it. Remember to stay hydrated, but also remember to stay grounded. And how can that be possible? Not just referring to history, but also having a legacy. And I'd like to end with this piece of art, which I put together. The first picture, of course, depicting the struggle. The first picture, of course, depicting confinement. And the first picture depicting difference, but not given the opportunity to flourish. The second picture, as you can see, the same colors all coming together. And in that state, such a beauty, I hope you see. I have hope for the future, and I'm inviting us all, not just leaving a legacy, but being hopeful of a better future. Why? Because of Black history. Thank you.
I would like to thank Banji for those words of wisdom. I think these are things that we will remember for time to come, and hopefully apply it in our everyday lives. I would like to take this opportunity now to introduce the Lolo Drum Band, and this would be the next session, the next item on the event, and it's going to be interactive. So I would now invite the band to come over, and they will tell you exactly how the interactive section is going to work. So, Lolo Band Drum, please do come forward. Oh, thank you very much, and I hope you did have so we're back, and it's going to be interactive, so help yourselves and knock yourselves out. Take you through what this session is going to be all about. We know within the spirit of the black tradition, the drum and the beat of the drum is spiritual. So enjoy yourselves.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you, brother. Thank you. So we are Lolo Drum and my name is Sens Sagna, originally from Senegal, grew up in the Gambia. And I travel as an artist internationally. So, and today we have also, over my left here, we have Farg from Freetown to do the dundu, and he's going to have also to participate to teach. And we have Ami from the Gambia, also in my right side. So the drumming is about sharing in Africa, because Africa drumming is something, is like our foundation, our rhythms. And today, if you see this drumming travel around the world by sharing, but this instrument called djembe, and djembe in our language with Mandeng is about coming together as a community, coming together as a family, coming together as a country, coming together as a world. So it's very welcoming to do some rhythm, because especially we are in the Black History Month, so it's be nice to, we like if you want to try, or even if you never played before, so there's drums there, you can come and take part, and we'll show you a few rhythm, and we'll play as a community to create like a celebration. So yeah, so if you want, you're welcome to come grab a drum, and we'll teach you basic of sound. And also, even if you were to go through, if you feel now you're not ready yet, take your time, you can come join the session, yeah? Are we all feeling good today? Yeah. All right. So with this kind of drumming also, we got a call. So we got a call, and when the call comes, everybody join to play. And that go like this. Thank you very much. I'm sure we might need 2 people or 3 people to come to just to join us, and my brother over there, you know.
All we're gonna do, we're just going to do some basic drumming.
So it's some basic, and yeah, please.
Yes. Thank you.
Good. Thank you very much. So it's a basic, so I go, we start, boom, pata, pa, bim, pata, pa, bim, pata, pa, bim, pata, pa, bim, see another drummer over there. Please, can you come join us? You have to come join us.
Yeah, we've got a lot of drums.
Yeah. Come on. Good. Well done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we do it again the same. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. I go property, pete. We start from the bass. Ping, pata, pa, 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 ping, pata, so we go. Everybody like it. Everybody like it. Okay, so we need to practice together this call. We do like call and response. So I go. Everybody do the same. That's it. Very good. Okay, so this is how it goes. And we all finish. Yeah? So we go. Yeah? After first one, we go. Now we do this. After we go stop, yeah? Now we go. You see? Good. Yeah. Okay? So now we're going to bring the rhythm. We go from this one. After I do, we all together, we go. Yeah? Okay. So the first, I bring these two first. The first call is always for these dunduns, yeah? So now, guys, wait. Let them fight. Come on. Take a look for it. Yeah? That's it, good. Good to have you people join us for today. So we're going to do another different one, yeah? Because with this kind of drumming, it's always we sometimes share it, sometimes we break it. So we're going to do another rhythm. And this one is like you go, tuku, ta, tuku, ta. So it's like tuku, ta, tuku, ta, tuku, ta, tuku, ta. We're gonna split it. Okay? This group here, they're gonna be doing. So you start from bass. So when you start. There's a bend there. one, boom, pata, pa, bass, pata, pa, this one, yeah? So now I'm gonna call, the first call is to bring the bass, the dun-dun, and the second call is to get everybody. So you play your part, they play their part, and we're gonna have like crossovers.
Don't worry, really, I'll give you the reminder.
Yeah.
I will go with the first one.
Yeah. So that is like crossover, and that's why we get the balance. Yeah? So from the top, I bring this one, and when I do the second call, it's you guys to do your, yeah? And I'll come join you to support. Proper, yeah? 1, 2, 3, 4. And next, you guys. Okay. So now we're going to do one more, all together. Yeah? So I call from day one, see. And you can see when we stop, you see the way this group and this group balancing out. But now we're going to change it again. So this group, you're going to do. Yours now. You're gonna do what they was doing before. Tukum, taku, tuka, tukum. Just. Yeah? And when I do the call for We All Go of Month, for some people are just coming. Ta, 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 ta. In this kind of rhythm, this is what makes people excited to dance. But because we're doing just drumming. No dancing, okay? So we go, so for people who are coming for now, I go, prapete, pe, pete, pete. So you go, just let your hand like, yeah, let's try it together. One more, 1, 2, 3, 4. And when we finish it like this, I will go. So you guys go. I go panta pitampa, you go pam pam. Because you see, this rhythm we play, you can even speak it. So it's not just, and that's the amazing of rhythms. So you can write it, you can speak it, You can play. You can dance. So I go panta pitampa, you go pam pam. Panta pitampa, panta pitampa, and after we all go. Yeah? Okay, are you ready? Yes. Okay. And after I'm gonna do this part, and I'm gonna bring Maisie fast. He's gonna show you also different, yeah? So we go from the top, from this guy after you guys, and we'll build there for panta pitam pam pam pam, yeah? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah? The second is for you guys. So you doing the, okay? Now your turn, guys, yeah? Okay, again, so Farg is gonna come do something different. I'm gonna go support the Dundu.
Everything we do right now is all basic. It is So basically what we've done is, the rhythm is the most important thing. What we've done is, what's your name, Farg, then say it again. Then what's your name, Farg, then say it again. So we're going to go around the circle, just as I said before, in Africa, this is what brings us together as a community, because we've not got much time to introduce ourselves and know each other, but we're going to do this by calling our name twice. I would say, what's my name? Farg, then say it again.
Farg.
Then what's your name?
Sensi.
Then say it again.
Sensi.
Then what's your name? Daniel. Then what's your name?
Daniel. Okay, that's how we go to everybody.
Whatever name,
I mean,
long, short, whatever your name is, it will fit in on this rhythm. Trust me.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to be first and then we'll go around the circle.
And don't be shy to say louder, because we love to hear your name.
So we'll go 1, 2, 3, and then there's someone behind you, and then we'll come back to the front, and then go around. Is that all right? 1, 2, 3, well, let's start with the rhythm. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3.
seem like they're shy. Some people say they're already. Yeah? What's your name? So,
Let's do it again then.
let's do it again. Yeah.
Sorry guys, we're going to do this again. Alright? Alright, after 1, 2, 3, go. Yeah, so now, we've not got much time. What we're going to be doing is just drumming. Please be careful if you got a ring, on your finger. 15. Oh, please be careful if you got a ring. Yeah, and then, just like my brother mentioned before, in Africa, we've got 2 types of drums. This is the djembe, and then we've got the conga, which is right behind us here. So, but basically, the djembe is one of our most interesting drum that we play in Africa, most concentrated. So the rhythm we're gonna do now, we call it heartbeat. As I said before, in Africa, we play drumming for different reasons. We play drum when there's a newborn baby, funeral, someone is ill, there's a meeting. There's so much different rhythms. I will tell you that this is a meeting, that is a funeral. You can get the drum from a distance, but you know what that chord is talking about. If it's a funeral, I have to go there and know what is that about, who died. So we got different. This one is a heartbeat. This is like what we play, like if someone is like ill, just go around their doorstep and play it, and it does help. Back home, we've proved so many things out of drumming. We just like the same thing, I will be playing drums like with my friends because it's natural there. The way I'm playing with my friends in the evening, my parents will know that I've had a bad day or a good day because they just know the way you play. So, right? I used to really get shocked like when my mom would say, "What's wrong with you today?" Like, can't you understand me when you come out? So drums help us a lot. This is the heartbeat. What we're gonna do, guys, is just about helping us to see how far we can concentrate. This drumming helps us in Africa to do diagnosis, everything, whatever you can call it. Okay. So now we're gonna do the heartbeat. All you guys are gonna have to do is concentrate on your beat. Then I'm gonna do something slightly different, but we'll make the same rhythm. Is that all right? Yeah. So what you're gonna do is basic that. some came from Nigeria, Gambia, Ghana, but where you find yourself is where you be at home. So like me, my ancestors are one of the people that are like sober, that are free time to preach. So that's why we got like my own town in my country, we got my own church, like the place of the state, everything exists there and everything. So African drumming really helped us because this is what brings all the people together that were not speaking the same language and become one, and everyone understands each other. So what we're gonna do on this is simple. We call this Izoro because back in them days we don't got music. When people are farming, we need entertainers. We need entertainers because people are working hard, and so that way drumming is also useful. So this really what they call it Izoro. This is like what people used to play, what we used to play back home when farmers are working hard. So it's simple. This is like what we did before. All you guys are gonna do is a little bit fast, yeah. So all the other guys, I'm the one that might be gonna be fast, but you guys have to just do it. 1, 2,
Okay, I know. I know we've been doing some drumming. I think we need some warm-up. So please, if you can stand up, I saw you something very slow. Something different. And over there, if you want, you can start. We need some exercise. Yeah? We're celebrating. Yeah? Simple that. Okay? Yeah? Everybody, just clap. Simple clap. And open your legs like this. Go, wow. That's it. That's it. And you back. That's it. Very good. That's the one down. Very good. Now we go. One, time, two. One, and two. That's very good. Very good. So when we finish like this, we're going to do one more, we finish. When we finish it like this, we all have to say, Africa. Yeah? So we go. We go. Okay? From the top again. Everyone. What's up?
Well, welcome back, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed the first component of the Black History Month event that we're hosting here for the BAME network, staff network within the University of Manchester. You just saw a performance from, Sens Sagna is the main sort of driver around the workshops. So the dancer, his name is Sens Sagna. He's a master African ballet composer and all that's involved, so dancing, performing, playing drums, learning various instruments. So he brings that to all his workshops, and that's what, you've just got a little taste of that. There's also Farg Korama, the congas player. He's very experienced. He teaches workshops at Gorse Hill Studios and around various places. An interesting combination because both from West Africa, both presenting cultures that they're proud of, and I'm happy that you got to witness such a brilliant and black performance to bring us through the day. So now we've got our next presenter, and it's another wonderful and brilliant and black professor from University of Manchester. Her name's Dawn Edge. You probably would have heard her, or if you haven't, you should look up her work. She's a professor from mental health and inclusivity. So looking at health issues plus diversity issues, such a big and important topic of research. Dawn is noted for her work over diagnosis of schizophrenia in the African and Caribbean ethnic groups, backgrounds. There's been a disproportionate historical implications, and Dawn has revealed a lot in this area. But most of all, Dawn's committed to strengthening research, plus bringing it and coupling it with policy and practice, and of course making governments informed of what's going on. So very applied research. One of the strengths that you'll see in the brilliant and black, all the performers today, they live their work. So I hope you enjoy the rest of what we have today. Can you welcome Dawn, please? Dawn Edge.
Oh, hello everyone, and thanks for that lovely, warm welcome. So yes, this is me, Dawn Edge, and I'm based in the Division of Psychology and Mental Health in the Faculty of Biology, Medicine and Health. And so when I was asked to talk about brilliant in BAME, I thought, what are the things I think of as being brilliant? And obviously, you can't hear? You can't hear? I'm not sure why, because I can hear me fine, so. Yeah? Okay, so we're going to sort that out. Apparently it's fine on the stream, so just bear with us. So I obviously think of light and the sun and things, but I thought about diamonds. Well, they do say they are a girl's best friend, right? And I guess most of us, when we think about diamonds, we think about them like this, maybe in a ring, maybe in a tiara or something else. But they usually look, for a lot of people, we think they look like this, apart from. Did you know, though, that there's such a thing as a black diamond? One of the toughest and most luminescent forms of natural diamonds, often found in Central Africa or in South America, places like Brazil. So I just thought I'd talk a little bit about the process by which we end up with a diamond, and just think about my lived experience and the lived experience of some of the people in this room and some of you online. So the first thing is that, a diamond is made out of carbon, as you know, and it has to be heated to really, really high temperatures, like over 1,000 degrees Celsius. I can't even imagine what that feels like, but it's extreme heat. And heat combined, with pressure. So pressed down for centuries and centuries before that process, or during that process in which it's been transformed. And of course, once the diamond comes out of the earth, for most of us, it just looked like a piece of rock. We wouldn't be able to tell it from any other rock if you weren't sufficiently well qualified to be able to notice these things. But through that further refining process, the cleaning up, the shaping, the chipping away, we turn into the things that we show, the pictures that I showed you earlier, and maybe even your wedding ring. I'm sorry, we seem to be skipping ahead more quickly than I intended. So, just using that analogy and thinking about what it takes to be brilliant and black in the UK in the 21st century, and some of the challenges that we face that may be equated to heat and pressure. And they start in childhood. So 2/3 of our children say that they're really afraid of the police, afraid that they will always be treated unfairly by the police. And over half of school children believe that their teachers treat them unfairly and don't adequately reward their performance. That's why last year so many black children and their parents were really worried about teacher-assessed grades, because generally speaking, black kids rely on the exam system to reward them for their actual performance and their ability, reflect their ability. And so for those young people who buck the trend, who rise above all odds at school, that I've just mentioned, and get into higher education, there are still further challenges. So many of you will be aware that there is an awarding gap. They used to talk about the attainment gap, but the language has changed to recognize that it's not necessarily about people's attainment, but it's the way they are seen and perceived, and that sometimes that means that people are not adequately rewarded in terms of the grades that they receive for the work that they put in. Which means that there's still, across the UK, about a 20% difference in your likelihood of getting a good degree, so 2-1 or above, if you are a black student compared to a white student. And that obviously has really important implications for people being able to progress, because you're only getting people to get onto a master's program, you need to get that 2-1 or above. And even when I'm employing research assistants or considering PhD students, you're looking back to look at people's trajectory. Excuse me while I was sick. And then even after people leave higher education, so the first degree, and thinking about career progression, how many are going to then go on to become academics and climb the academic ranks if actually your performance, the award that you receive is less than that 2-1? And it's not just in academia. So we've also got some physical challenges in physical health. Most of you will have known, seen on your TVs the inequalities in health that's been laid bare by COVID. You saw that the disproportionate impact, not just on communities, but also on frontline staff. So of the doctors who died, the vast majority, and the healthcare staff who died, and the bus drivers and people like that who died, the vast majority are from black, Asian, and other racialized groups. And there's quite a lot of evidence emerging now, slowly but surely, of people being put into the front line, of being expected to work longer, being less likely to be given PPE. So lots and lots of inequalities. And so into the care system. So if you're a black woman in the UK, your risk of dying in pregnancy or childbirth is 5 times greater than a white woman. And babies that are cared for by black doctors are significantly more likely to do well. And because the infant mortality rate, and this is a really study from last year from the Centers for Disease Prevention in the United States, and they reported that the chances of dying in infanthood for a black child, a black baby, was 2.5 times that of white baby. But if you remember, I was talking about that awarding gap. So your chances of getting that good degree to get you into medicine, which might be your dream, are substantially reduced if you don't get that degree. So it's all intertwined. And it's not just physical health. So as was mentioned, my work focuses generally on inequalities, but quite substantially on mental health, hence the title. And a lot of the work that I do, I started doing stuff for my PhD, which is around pregnancy and childbirth and black women's underrepresentation in services, receiving support for perinatal depression. But whilst they're underrepresented, we're underrepresented for depression and anxiety type illnesses. There's a massive overrepresentation in more serious mental illness like schizophrenia and psychoses. And if you haven't read it, and I feel sometimes like I'm a bit of an ambassador for this book, but if you're interested, there's a book called The Protest Psychosis: How Schizophrenia Became the Black Disease. And that links the civil rights movement and black men in particular standing up for their rights, and how many of them then became labeled as being psychotic, mentally ill, and so diverted into mental health system and yo-yoing between mental health and criminal justice systems. And still, to borrow Maya Angelou's phrase, and still we rise. Despite all of the challenges, we rise. So I'm just going to talk about a few people who I'm sure most of you know very well. So this is somebody that you will know. There's a building just down the way that's named after Sir Arthur Lewis. And he was the first black professor at the University of Manchester, and indeed across the UK. And some of his other notable achievements, you can look him up, were that he was Vice Chancellor of the University and back in the University of the West Indies. And he also went on to become a Nobel laureate, the first black man to achieve that distinction. He's been an advisor, he was in his lifetime an advisor to many different Caribbean and African countries in terms of their economics. And for us locally, you might know that he established the West Indian Sports and Social Club just down the way because he had a passion of using economy to bring about equality. But did you know that Sir Arthur spent quite a lot of his childhood sick? Some of his early years, he was quite poorly, he was quite unwell. And his father homeschooled him. And by the time he went back to school, he was so far advanced, they had to put him up 2 years, two stages ahead. Louise Dacre-Codia, so she's a woman who came to the UK as a young woman, 21, from Jamaica, where she was a nurse. And within 11 years, she was the lead nurse in Manchester. She's gone on, again, there are lots of distinctions. She's been Deputy Lieutenant of Lancashire. She got an honorary degree from the university, an honorary master's. And in 2008, the Karaoke Education Trust was rebranded in her honor because of the work she's done to promote education, and particularly supplementary education to, I mentioned earlier on about children in schools and how very often they are not given the support that they need. And back in the 1960s, if you will be aware, that actually black children were being labeled as educationally subnormal. And so in response, a group of people, including Louise, pulled together these supplementary schools to actually educate people outside the mainstream. And of course, just recently, we know about Marcus Rashford, but what an amazing, amazing young man. To use his lived experience as a child growing up with a working mum, working really hard, but still unable to feed her children, and to use his story to challenge the government of the day to do a U-turn to address child poverty by just giving kids a meal during the pandemic. And do you remember that there was a time they were going to withdraw it, and he's championed that. And it's just such a wonderful story of how he's overcome and continues to be a champion. And of course, we've celebrated him this year with him being the youngest recipient of an honorary doctorate at our institution. So my question for you, whether you're in the room or watching online, is where are you today? Are you one of the people who may be feeling overlooked? Like that diamond buried. And I've certainly come across people on this campus who've got doctorates, who've got master's degrees, but they're working in housekeeping services and as janitors and as a range of other things because their qualifications aren't recognized in the UK. Is that you? Or are you one of those people who's under extreme pressure trying to do your day job? Sometimes I come in quite early in the morning, and we know that black and other racialized and minoritized people are much more likely to be on this in terms of the workforce in the lower grade jobs. So when I come in the morning, because I come in quite early, pre-COVID, I would often meet cleaning staff from Eastern Europe, from the Caribbean, from Africa, from Asia, and have a chat about their backgrounds and how they came to be in these jobs. And you'd be amazed about the diamonds that are there that we just don't recognize. And we don't have a system for working with people from where they are to bring out the best in them. But we're working on that. And maybe you're one of those people, some of those people, when I talk to them, they're juggling 3 and 4 jobs. They come to work, they do it on a 0-hours contract, they do the cleaning here, they rush home to get the kids to school, and then they go and do something else. And this is their daily job, constantly under pressure. And for some of us, that means that we lose hope. And the last and the worst case scenario when you really lose hope is that there doesn't seem any point in going on. There seems to be little point in living. And you'll be well aware that that suicide amongst men is really another pandemic. It's certainly an endemic in the UK, and we don't really talk about that. We don't talk about the mental health crisis that we had before the pandemic, and which has gotten even worse, particularly amongst our young people. But we need to, and we need to find solutions before people give up hope. And just a reminder that it's not where you start. It's not even where you are now. And just to finish, I'm going to talk about who else but our dear Chancellor, Lem Sisay. And so again, many of you will know Lem's story of being born to Ethiopian mum in the UK, a child brought up in the care system. And if you haven't read his book, My Name is Why, I would really, really encourage you to do so. But he's drawn on that experience to champion the cause of children and young people, both within the care system and, really importantly, those leaving care who have a really rough deal. There are very few who will attain the grades at school to enable them to come to university. I used to do fostering, and I remember one young woman, and she was 17 when she came to me, and she'd had more homes than the number of years that she'd lived. Really difficult to be established anywhere, to form good relationships, to put down roots long enough to achieve those 5 A to C grades that are going to get you into the career pathway. And Lem has been at the forefront of championing people like that. And not just in terms of getting into academia, because we know that that's one route for some people, but it's not the only route. There are vocational qualifications and apprenticeships, but you do need someone to help you if you've no aspirations or expectations or no experience of further or higher education, or indeed even school-age education. Lem has also been a stalwart for fighting social justice in many other areas, including his amazing program of providing meals at Christmas time, and that's become a national initiative now, started here in Manchester. And I was privileged to work alongside Lem and other people to establish the Lem Sisay Bursary to address the fact that so few black men, although we tend to be in touch with the criminal justice system, very few are in touch with the criminal justice system as lawyers. So Lem's name is attached to the Black Lawyers Matter bursary to try to address that. So I'm going to finish with some of his words, which I can barely see from here. And he says, so remembering what I was saying about where you are, feeling pressured, feeling buried, feeling overlooked, feeling that, maybe you're about to lose hope. And I just really want to encourage you today. This is Lem says, and so we build year after year, and we rise tide after tide. Sorry, is that time after time? We bring light into darkness. So that's what we're here for. The work that I'm doing is about shining a light on the inequalities around black mental health. And many of you are doing other things that are shining a light on the things that are happening around you and the inequalities. Black Lawyers Matter, Black Lives Matter was a signal for that, wasn't it? And maybe, just maybe, the confluence of the COVID pandemic and the lockdown gave us all time just to stop long enough to look at those images of Derek Chauvin's knee on that black man's neck. And not just that his knee was on his neck, but the fact that he was looking straight at the camera, absolutely confident that there would be no repercussions for his actions. And so we need to work together to change that. We need to work together so that those young people that I mentioned who don't believe that people are going to treat them fairly, that we can give them the hope. And so I'm really delighted that at Manchester now we've recognized the things that we need to change. We've now set up for the first time a directorate to look at equality, diversity and inclusion issues. And some of you who were here earlier would have seen our new director, Banji. And I'm really pleased we're working alongside Banji with that and things like the 100 Black Women Professors program. It's an initiative to increase the number of Black women professors, because you may not know that there are just 35 Black women professors in the whole of the UK. And so I mentioned Arthur Lewis earlier on. In 1948, he became the UK's and the University of Manchester's first Black professor. It took 71 years before I became the first Black woman professor. And that's something that we need to look at, that we're absolutely committed to change, not just to do more research and collect more data, but to work with Banji, with the networks, with the senior leadership team, with all of us, to make sure that we don't have to wait much longer for someone else to join me that looks like me. Thank you.
I have to say, what a wonderful person Dawn is. It's very difficult to rise through the institution that is academia. So I'm very proud to have been in the position to introduce such a wonderful person. So please listen to her words, and I think we can take the last message, shine and be bright. And that's what everybody's coming here to be as part of this today. And I'm proud to introduce again the next people who will be performing. And now it's Calypso, George, and the Metro B Band. So we've got a group of specialist Calypso, pan players, and Tabla player all together. So it's African fusion music. This has a very Jamaican, Caribbean twist, but also members of Sens Sagna and the Kajamor family are going to come and join in, add to the drumming element of the music, and I hope you enjoy. If you feel like it, out of your seats, in your lounges, have a dance, join in. It's great music, soul tapping, toe tapping. Thanks a lot.
1, 2, 1, 2. Yes, welcome to everyone. Whilst we're trying to get everybody together and get a sound, just want to pronounce that I'm George, Calypso George, as they call me. Meant to be is a pun for what is meant to be, but also it's a pre-ska style of music from the Caribbean, mainly Jamaica. A bit like Calypso, but it's played with banjo, the rhythm box, and the drums, sometimes with a fife. The banjo is a speaking instrument, but we substitute banjo for guitar. The first one we're going to do is going to be a song called Go For Me, and it's about passing on the baton to somebody else who's more able than you are. As we get older, the younger ones take up where we leave off. Just like in the time of COVID, where people went to shops for the ones who were able. That's our community, as Sens and the other boys were talking about, the African way of life, looking after each other. Okay. Dreams We only got another couple of songs, so.
Yes. This song is called Matilda. Everybody knows about Matilda, a runaway queen in England. Yeah. And Matilda is really a swag bag. A swag bag is something you put a sheet on the ground, put all your belongings in it, get a nice stick, and you're ready to run away. Let's go. This is called Matilda.
Last song, we got time just for one more. Time is moving. Thank you. We're going to do this last one and vacate the space for those who are coming after. Thanks for your time and thanks for listening. And what's the last one for? What should we be doing? Archie?
This one is called Archie. It's all about
Carnival.
Carnival time. Everybody want to dance, see that she get their body right. Archie break them up.
dancing, and all of that. Thank you very much.
Okay, so most of you, of course, have guessed Naomi Ogbeta. For those who don't know, she recently was at the 2020 Olympics and was at the university studying politics and quantitative methods. So, the next question is, which footballer received an honorary degree from the University of Manchester for his remarkable campaign against child poverty? I think this should be an easy one. Numbers are coming in. Okay, we've got 7, 8. Yeah, coming in quick and fast now. Give you a few more seconds to get your answers in and locked. Great, I think we've got everyone in now. So the answer is Marcus Rashford. So well done if you've guessed that correctly. So the next question. In the last equality report for 2021, what percentage of the university staff were from a black or ethnic minority background? So the options you've got is 7%, 17%, 27%, or 37%. Great, I've got numbers coming in. Again, in the last equality report for 2021, what percentage of the University of Manchester staff were from a black or ethnic minority background? Give that a few seconds and then we'll give you the answer. Okay, so for those who are interested to know, it is 17%. So 17% of the University of Manchester staff were from black or ethnic minority background. So the next question, this was covered in Dawn's presentation, so if you were paying attention, you should know the answer to this. Who was the first British black professor at the University of Manchester? Should be an easy one, guys. So again, who was the first British black professor at the University of Manchester? Got Professor Dawn Edge, Professor Paul Mativenga, I might be butchering that name, Professor David Olusoga, Professor Arthur Lewis, and Professor Gary Young. And if you're listening to Dawn's presentation, you should have the answer to this. Okay, so let's lock in that. The answer was Arthur Lewis. Well done to everyone who guessed that. So, the next question. Who is the founder of the youth leadership movement Reclaim? For those who don't know, Reclaim has successfully worked with young people in marginalized community in the UK. This is going to be a tough one. Let's see how many of you can guess it correctly. Just a few more seconds, guys. Get your answers in. Okay, we've got just waiting for a few more people. Okay, let's lock in that result. So the answer was Ruth Ibabuna. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I am sorry if I'm butchering that name. So the next question is, who became the first ever woman to be commemorated with a statue at the Manchester Town Hall after campaigning to end gun violence in a city? Again, who became the first woman to be commemorated with a statue at Manchester Town Hall after campaigning to end gun violence in the inner city? The options are Margaret Ashton, Erin Mabel, or Sarah Parker Raymond. Just waiting for a few more people. Great, let's lock in those results. So, for those who guessed Dr. Erin Mabel, well done, that's the correct answer. Great, so the next question is, which Manchester City goalkeeper and Moss Side native received an MBE for services to young people in 2002? So you've got David James, Edison Santana, and Alex William. If you're a Manchester City fan, you should get this. Just waiting for a few more people. So the question is, which Manchester City goalkeeper and a Moss Side native received an MBE for services to young people in 2002? Looks like it's going to be a close one here. Okay, let's lock in those results. The answer is Alex Williams. Well done, and that's the end of the quiz. Thank you very much.
Hello, so welcome back, and I hope you all did well in the little quiz that we had, and thank you for Adele for putting it together. So the last element of the day's activities, we have Sens Sagna and the Kajamor Family. Again, they're an Afro-fusion beat band. They draw on more African beats than you would probably get when you're used to the rhythm and blues, more popularist Afrobeat sounds. So I hope those who know listen carefully and understand and quite see how broad world music is. Understanding the African culture component is important as it gets blended, and some people would argue appropriated into other musical types. So we're proud to present, happy to present a band of 7 musicians. They'll introduce themselves and they'll do a quick run through of songs. Please, if you enjoyed the performances, you enjoyed the speakers today, take your time and look through the social media, find out who they are, and always remember to recognise and give recognition to all of our brilliant and black friends. Okay, thank you. Enjoy the show. Sens?
Yeah, 1, 2, 1, 2, yes, 1, 2, Hello, everybody. Are we all feeling having a good day? Okay. Yes. So our next one is a blessing song. We call it blessing because we all need blessing to do well. Blessing means we're feeling better. And if we don't feel better, then we don't get blessed. So bless about joy. So this song is about blessing. We're going to start with that and we see how it goes, yeah? Nanyon, Fafanyon, Bayan Muso, Kendo, Salamani, Tulnatani, Kanakanatis, Tulnatani, Kanakanatis, Tulbea Loni, Be Bakini, Bakini, Tulbea Loni. Alfa la cambe Maria de Banco Sanola Simbola to the Dinigola Camille, Sebanco Sanola Simbola Nanyon, Fafanyon, Bano Sono Kindo, Salamanikum, Tulnatali, Kalakaniti Simbola. Tulnatali, Kalakaniti Simbola. Tulbea Loni, Be Bakini Bakini. Tulbea Loni, Be Bakini Bakini. Alfa la Cambe Mania Sebanco Sanola Simbola. Tudinigola Cambe Sebanco Sanola Simbola. Yeah. So this is our blessing song. And our next one is about female warrior. And this is Adil Gata. He's from West Africa, Senegal, Casamance. She fights for freedom, but she's been taken away of exile, and that's why she died in exile. So this song is about Adil Jata, female warrior. Okay, we have a technical problem. Yeah, okay, this is about female warrior. How we feeling? We feeling good? If you're feeling good, say yeah! Say yeah! Thank you. So now next time we're going to do reggae for you. And this song is about freedom and peace around the world. But also, we don't need problems, we don't need war. We need to share, to look after each other, to make sure we help others who need our help. Because sometimes I'll be fine, but she might be not, he might be not. So it's about peace around the world. No pam, 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 no killing, peace. This is about peace. is about sharing with your love. And we call it Baby You.
sorry, I just lost power. But thank you very much. So, I think we got our last song. And before we're gonna do, when we do this one, we're gonna do One Love. And we're gonna invite our big brother, Master George there, and Bajdi to join us. We're gonna do One Love song. But for now, we're gonna do Salia. And this is Salia is about celebrating life and legacies. So especially because we say Black History Month, and it's good to remember people who fight to bring Black consciousness. So we got people like Mandela, we got people like Haile Selassie, we got people like Martin Luther King, we got people like, you know, Stephen Biko, we got people like, you know, and we got like Sister Nani, we got Oriama Keba, Fela Kuti, so I can't, but this is about celebrating. And today, what's more important to see the England football team, the solidarity they have, because only race we can make difference when we cross each other's race. So this is about celebrating, don't be afraid, just trying to do right things. And yeah, all of us can make difference. So this song is about celebrating. So don't be shy. If you want to dance, there's a dance floor. So don't be shy. We got a Salia.
Now we're gonna pick one love song.
So I just need to close for the evening, the afternoon. The idea now is to bring everything together. We're going to have a One Love song, celebrate Black History Month together. So we have the musicians on stage, and I'd like to thank all the musicians for their great contribution and showing us what they can do. I'd like to thank Dawn Edge for giving a wonderful speak. I'd like to thank the other presentations that were done earlier. Adil for doing the modulate thing, Padlet thing, and of course Laverne and Lorraine, who are our two guiding lights within the BAME staff network. So I hope you enjoyed the event. Please keep up with all the Black positive things that are going on. Yeah, and enjoy the last song. Please join in. Come and have a dance.
Give us maybe 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. This is what we have this afternoon for you. And we're very excited to be here. We are Sens Sagna. Thank you. Thank you.